continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The Judicial and Bar Council has nominated 9 applicants for Supreme Court Associate Justice. Recall that the post at the High Court was vacated when Alexander Hismundo was appointed Chief Justice in April. In its Twitter account, the Supreme Court said Malacanang has already received the JBC short list of nominees last Friday. The JBC identified the nominees as R. Sandiganbayan Presiding Justice Amparo Cabutahetang, Sandiganbayan Associate Justices Geraldine Faith Ekong and Rafael Lagos, former Ateneo de Manila University Law Dean Cedfrey Candelaria, Court of Appeals Justices Ramon Cruz Hapar de Ampao, and Maria Filomena C. Supreme Court Administrator Jose Maides Marquez and Supreme Court Administrator Raul Villanueva. 10 cops involved in the killing of 2 people, one of them a minor in Binyan, Laguna, are now under restrictive custody. That's according to a statement released by PNP, which says that Laguna Police Intelligence Unit Head Captain Fernando Oredo and 9 others were also subjected to paraffin testing. To determine if any of them had fired their guns recently, ballistic exams were also conducted on their firearms. Per the same statement, investigators from the Laguna Police Internal Affairs Service and the Calabarzon IAS says that the relatives of those killed were not yet ready to give their statements. A 16-year-old teenager was killed by police officers in a drug operations last June 16. Authorities insist the minor fought back, but his family rejects the police story. Romy Lopez with the story.
Relatives of John Derrick Hellis are still in disbelief as they attend the wake of the 16-year-old boy. John and a companion died in the hands of police officers in an anti-illegal drug operation in Binyan, Laguna. Initial police report states that the 2 allegedly traded fire with the authorities, but the Hellis family doesn't buy this.
Ganun naman po ginagawa nila pag naglaban, sabihin may baril. Kaya gawa-gawa na lang nila yung ano na yan. Maraming ganyan na sistema sa puro ng laban, may baril. Kaya pinatay.
John's mom admitted that he was involved in the illegal drugs, but she believes that what happened was an overkill.
Dapat po, hindi na lang nila pinatay, hinuli na lang sana, ikulong. Para may pagkakataon pa yung bata magbago.
John is a father of 1-year-old kid, and his 17-year-old wife is currently pregnant with his second child. His companion, 47-year-old Antonio Dalit, was also killed in the encounter. His relatives said Antonio was linked to illegal drugs before, but he had already changed since then. They also don't believe that the police indeed found several sachets of illegal drugs in his possessions.
Hindi naman ako pinalapit ng mga pulis. Hindi ko rin naman nakita kung talagang kinapkap sa niya. Kaya mahirap po magsabi.
May duda.
Oo, na magdududa ako o ano.
A bystander in the area disclosed that the cops intentionally killed the 2 after he overheard their conversation.
Wala kayong ititira dyan. Lahat yan uubusin.
Anong ibig sabihin nun?
Hindi ko nga rin po alam bago ho mangyari. At pagkatapos nun, pagkatawid ho nun sa ilog, ayun ako, sunod-sunod na ho naputukan ng narinig.
The Binyan police are still probing the incident, but they maintained that the operation was legal.
Hanggang ngayon po, nagsasagawa pa po kami ng follow-up investigation po tungkol po sa pangyayari po yan.
This is the latest report of the drug war killings after an ICC prosecutor formally sought authority to investigate the matter. For News 5, Romy Lopez. We are One News.
The military maintains that the killing of 3 Lumads in Surigao del Sur is part of a legitimate operation. But initial investigations show that the 3 are innocent civilians and not rebels. Gemma Vansenia with the report.
The fact-finding team of the Surigao del Sur LG went to Barangay Diatagon, Ilianga on Friday. Along with the PNP and government officials, they conducted a dialogue with the town's tribal council on the alleged massacre of 3 Lumads on June 15. A team from the Human Rights Commission was also present during the meeting. The victims were identified as Willie Rodriguez, Lenny Rivas, and her 12-year-old sister. Datu Constancio Duhak, the municipal tribal chieftain of Lianga, said the family of the killed Lumads requested for privacy for at least 6 days before opening their doors for investigation. Based on the tribal council's initial investigation, the killed Lumads were all civilians.
Pagkauma, Kinabukasan dumating yung mga pamilya. Sinabi na yung mga batang namatay na yon is totally civilian. Unang-una yung 12 anyos na babae, yung 21 anyos na tomboy, at yung 38 anyos na lalaki. Lumalabas na civilian silang lahat.
However, the military begged to differ. They insisted that it was not a massacre but a legitimate operation. Lieutenant Colonel Benedict Hernale of the 3rd Special Forces Battalion disputed the family's narrative that the victims were harvesting abaca when the incident happened. He claimed that there was no abaca farm on the encounter site. Hernale added it was the rebels who fired at them first, which instigated the encounter that lasted for 10 minutes.
When we scored the area, tiningnan natin yung posisyon ng kalaban, nakita natin na nandun pa yung mga nakalatag, yung ibang anti-personnel mine. And dito po, nakita din po natin yung 3 tao na nakahandusay at tila iniwan ng kanilang mga kasamahan.
The military recovered an IED, 1 AK-47 and 2 caliber 45 on site. Hernales said the incident proved that the New People's Army continues to recruit child combatants.
Mga allegations nila na wala namang basihan. And pangatlo, sanay na po kami. Every time nagkakaroon po tayo ng legitimate encounter, yun po talaga yung kanilang mga paratang na wala namang basihan.
Lianga Mayor Novelita Sarmen said they will provide financial assistance to the family of the killed Lumads. She also added that tribal leaders are trying to manage the situation upland since some Lumads are worried for their safety.
Dako gid sila kabalaka.
Nag-aalala talaga sila. Isang pamilya na kasi sila doon sa taas kaya medyo natatakot na. Pero yung mga datu doon, ginagawa lahat ng paraan para makakuha ng justice para sa mga biktima.
Recall that 6 years ago, hundreds of Lumad families evacuated from upland for almost a year after the massacre of 3 Lumads in their area. For News 5, Jem Abansenia, we are One News.
A humanitarian group found that women are still doing more care work than men in the midst of the pandemic. According to a study by Oxfam Philippines, women spend up to 13 hours doing unpaid work caring for others, while men devote only 8 hours per day for such purposes. The survey was conducted during the first quarter of the year. Oxfam said it was, quote, disappointing that there is still inequality at home and that the bulk of unpaid care work still falls on women. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Now, let's check the global COVID-19 bulletin today. As of 1 o'clock in the afternoon, there are more than 2.4 million active cases worldwide. Vaccines administered now cover 39 million individuals. U.S. still tops the global case count with over 33 million cases. This is followed by India with 29 million, Brazil with 17 million, and France and Turkey with both over 5 million cases. Philippines has the 24th most number of cases worldwide with over 1.3 million. Now, in terms of death tally, U.S. still tops the list with over 600,000, followed by Brazil and India. But Mexico, which has the 15th most number of cases, has the 4th most number of deaths with over 231,000. This is followed by Peru with 189,000 deaths, the 17th country with the most number of cases. Let's now take a look at other stories from across the globe. The United States will ship 2.5 million COVID-19 vaccine doses to Taiwan, more than tripling Washington's previous allocation to the country. The U.S. initially promised to donate 750,000 doses to Taiwan, but is increasing that number as the country advances its pledge to send 80 million U.S.-made shots around the world. The donated vaccine doses are set to arrive in Taipei on Sunday evening. Iranian cleric Ebrahim Raisi secured victory in Iran's presidential election. With all 29 million ballots counted, Raisi was elected with a tally of 17.9 million. Turnout in the presidential race was a record low of around 48.8%, along with around 3.7 million invalid ballots. Raisi, who takes office in early August, said he will be a president for all Iranians, whether they voted for him or not. Pope Francis put 20th century statesman Robert Schumann, one of the founders of modern Europe, on the path to sainthood in the Roman Catholic Church. The Pope approved a decree recognizing the heroic virtues of Schumann, who died in 1963. The recognition is one of the earliest stages of the long process that can lead to canonization. The approval of the decree means Schumann now has the title of Venerable. The 15-member West African bloc is launching a new roadmap for a single currency by 2027 to boost trade and economic growth within the region. Originally planned for 2020 to 2021, heads of state of the Economic Community of West African States agreed on Saturday to defer the Convergence Pact 6 years later. This due to the unforeseen circumstances brought by the pandemic. The Convergence Pact will cover the period between 2022 to 2026 before launching the new currency ECO in 2027. Now here's some climate change news. By the end of 2020, 55 million people all over the world have been displaced and 75% of them moved due to extreme weather. Let's watch this report from Bloomberg. Visit News 5, Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.